So with that, Sigil, the floor is yours. What do you want to tell these students about you and about entrepreneurship in general?
Yo, I'm so excited. I'm just gonna share my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Cool. I want to just keep this like pretty casual. I think entrepreneurship is definitely something that I have a vast amount of experience in, but it wasn't really intentional at all, which I'll get into like all of these different stories, which is just me just following what I wanted to do, right? I think curiosity does breed entrepreneurship, and just following, your curiosity can lead to awesome stuff. But I'll just do a brief intro. I'm Sigil. You can check out more of my stuff on sigil1.ca. I'm currently a senior at Richmond Hill. I'm taking a gap year from the M&T program at Penn. I also have a YouTube channel, and I'm in the Activate program at TKS. But I think the most important thing that I'm focusing on and building right now is my company called BitSwap, which I started 2 months ago, but since then it's grown to more than $10 million valuation and a team of more than 15 employees. And there's a lot more stuff, but yeah, you can also check it out here. This is bitswap.network. Visit out, check it out. We're also featured in like New York Magazine and Business Insider. But anyways, that was a bit about like kind of the context of what I do. But I actually want to go into like a personal story of myself. This is actually me in grade 3. Like you can see, I'm crying in this, and I'm presenting my like Goosebumps Horrorland. Yeah, that was the series. Yeah, it was a book presentation. But out of everyone in the entire class, I was the only one who cried, and I just had a lot of anxiety growing up and was really shy. But yeah, that was just like, I guess like how I was back then. And I mean, since then it's changed a lot through, and it was a lot of discomfort to get here. But that was kind of just grade 3 Sigil. And like, to be honest, that was me. For presentations, I couldn't really do it. So I was kind of like that quiet kid who really enjoyed stuff. But like in my time, I would love to explore fiction and stories. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this is the Captain Underpants series. And these are the two protagonists, George and Harold. I loved Captain Underpants. But what I really liked about it, aside from like the wacky toilet humor, poop jokes and stuff, was like these two protagonists. Like I was like what, grade 4, grade 5 when I was like reading them and getting really into them. And I saw that, wow, George and Harold, the protagonists, were still grade 5, and they were able to create like their own comic book company, which they sold on the playground. I was like, hey, what's preventing me from doing that? And so me and one of my friends, we just decided like, hey, like I have a lot of like creative abilities, right? You are much more confident than me. Let's work together and like build this out. And I just like drew for fun, right? I like during classes, I would just normally do all of my homework, but this time I have like a creative outlet to direct like what I like to do. So I just spent all my time just drawing comics, and then like we just sold it, get like a few hundred in revenue at the time, which I think is a lot for elementary school, like 5th graders. But yeah, unfortunately, it was also shut down by my principal because apparently you cannot sell comic books or sell stuff on school property. But anyways, entrepreneurial journey. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was at that time. I just like to draw, right? That was what I did. I just drew, and then we just sold it, right? But continuing on, it wasn't until high school where I really figured out and learned what exactly entrepreneurship meant. And that actually stemmed from like another story, which the fact that when I went to high school, I saw like everyone around me, and there's one thing that like I realized is the fact that like I was like the worst speaker back then. I couldn't like speak like to the same ability as I am doing right now, right? But I couldn't even do any presentations without reading directly off a script, because my whole life of just being like super shy, I realized that communication was important and a skill. And so having all these presentations and everyone just like so much better than you, I decided to like seek alternatives. And so I turned to making YouTube videos, right? And the thing about YouTube is that I can film my presentation over and over again, right? And I can edit out all my mistakes. But additionally, from just like making the video and presentation, I got to explore like parodying my favorite YouTubers. I love watching YouTube. I love like looking at ASAP Science. Here's a picture of me and ASAP Science over here. And yeah, I basically looked at my favorite YouTubers, and I figured like, how can I parody them? Like, how can I like get their ability, their style, and then put it in my own? And so for every project, which you can see some of them, they're like pretty cringy, but I leave them up just to show all of y'all how it looks like. But I just try to replicate it. And in doing so, it required me to upgrade my skill set, upgrade the tools I use. And at the time, I only had like a few hundred in savings, which I then just invested all into a new computer and the Adobe Creative Cloud, which, wow, you guys are so lucky. I think many school boards now offer it for free, but I had to pay like $30 a month for this stuff to get like these suite of tools. But this allowed me to create like anything you see. Like if you look at an Apple commercial, heck, I even made like an Apple commercial on my YouTube channel. I think if we go here, yeah, the iPhone 0, it's over here. Yeah, well, you can do anything, and that's the beauty about it. And so yeah, like these suite of tools that like I invested in increased my ability to create. And it was all just about like, okay, like you have the tools to do it. Now, how can you actually accomplish and get that, right? And so I just started making a bunch of YouTube videos on my channel, right? And every time I just explored a new skill, like, oh, I want to make this. I want to like learn how to do like this effect. And what kind of came out of that was the fact I was just like making videos for fun, right? I just like made like these like parody videos, like these like meme videos. I don't know, like talking about like some of my struggles, but also like some like content and stuff. But what happened was that when you put yourself out there and when you like show yourself and show your skills, right? If you see a video, you're not just there for the content, but you notice something, right? You notice that, hey, wow, maybe Sigil's a really great video editor. And say like thousands of people come and then some people are looking for a video editor, boom, you get to reach out from like someone, and this attracts opportunities. And it's kind of interesting that through my YouTube channel and through my portfolio of like being able to show off my abilities and my skills, I just got requests from different businesses and people that were like, hey, do you want to like do the video stuff? And I also like built up skills, not just in creative part, but also like building websites, which allowed me to introduce myself into coding and building software. And all that congregated into Sigil Digital, which you can actually check out here at Sigil Digital. We also have like a portfolio, but I built it up to like 4 employees, and I just trained my friends on using all of the experience I built up so that they would be able to help other people and help businesses like create videos, create websites. We did all of that. And this kind of ties into like a key point that I think is really embodies entrepreneurship, which is just entrepreneurship is about solving problems, right? And problems, you can frame it like this, like a business, like if let's say you're a business, right? And then the business needs a website, right? Oh my God, I don't have a website. How do I do it? That's a problem. And another thing could be like, hey, if they wanted to build out like an application or software, there's just with everyone and everywhere, there's always problems that exist. And I think your role as like an entrepreneur or anyone is to develop like the skills and abilities to solve those problems for them, right? And in the context for like through my video, right, or through like being very good at building out websites, it allows you to then help businesses and different companies solve their problem, which would just be building websites for that, which I did for a long period of time. And I think the question you have now is like, how do you exactly like develop the skills to be able to solve problems? And one way you could do it is, I mean, here's the thing you gotta know is that you can learn anything on the internet. Like, everything is free, right? You can, there's like if you go online and just search up like Harvard CS50, right? You get like an education from like that's Harvard level, but it's in like it's like a computer science course where you learn to program. And yeah, the fact is that you're not just limited to school to learn. Like you can learn anytime. And I think through the internet you can very much learn pretty much anything. I think the best way to learn actually is, well, it's to follow your curiosity or just do what you like. And I really like this quote by Naval. It's like, what feels like play to you but looks like work to others? That's like an interesting question. It's like normally, like if you look at me building my company, you think, oh wow, he's just working a lot. But no, it's just so fun. Like and I'll tell you my story of like how exactly I came to the company. But I actually started getting into the crypto space through making these NFT meme doges, right? So NFTs that are called non-fungible tokens, and they're kind of like digital cryptocurrency collectibles. And I was like, hey, I like creating things, why not make them? So you can see how I parodied like Elon Husky, Mark Zuckerberg, like all of these like doges and stuff that I made for fun, and like they just sold on like on different marketplaces as people collected them, right? But just by like doing this wacky like cool doge thing, which you can actually go to cooldoge.com and check it out, and it led me into cryptocurrencies. And it's like, wow, I just like wanted to do it for fun, and it exposed me to this new decentralized social media platform called BitClout, which I got on. And when I got on, it's basically like Twitter, right? So I just made memes on it, but except that everyone has their own coin that you can invest in using the native cryptocurrency. It's a really interesting way. And I just like made a bunch of memes. I got a bunch of my friends to make a lot of memes. And I also, as like an early adopter, I grew myself. And you can see like how like one Sigil token would run you for like around 3,000 US dollars, while just like pursuing and doing stuff for fun. Like I was just making memes and stuff, right? I just realized the problem with the platform was the fact that like there's like $250 million that was locked in the platform, right? It's like a social media platform, but you weren't able to withdraw anything directly from the platform, right? You had to go into like these sketchy Discord servers and find someone who would buy that BitClout off of you. And so what I did was that, you know, going back to like being able to solve problems, like I saw this problem, and in my past, I've like developed a lot of abilities and skills that can solve these problems. So I went towards it like, hey, why not just like for a hackathon project, like get together some of my buddies and just, like try and build something that like really like solves it, right? Like so that you can withdraw like hundreds of millions of dollars from the platform. And so you can see here's a picture of me and my co-founders. Actually, we're in my this is my room actually, and then you can see how like I have like desk setup. It's like a like makeshift office, but we're just building this like this like platform, right? Which required you to know software and stuff, right? But the fact that we had like that background in software and being able to like create it, and if we didn't know what to do, we can like search it up and figure it out and learn it. But also we could just like find other people who we were connected with, which through like networking, and like get them on board, which is what we did. But yeah, we started like building the product, and yeah, it's been a crazy 6 months, right? Of just no, not 6 months, 60 days, less than 60 days. Oh my God, like 50 days of just building this thing, right? Like a few weeks ago, I was offered $100,000 for 1% of my company, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, I've like scaled the team to more than 15, and we just been building this out. And yeah, but the key thing behind that is the fact that I was able to like identify a problem, right? Which is, and then be able to apply like my skill sets and ability towards solving that, which is the whole premise behind entrepreneurship. And as an aspiring entrepreneur for yourself, you want to go towards and learn how to build yourself up, right? This quote by Naval again. I'm a huge Naval simp, right? It's a learn to sell, learn to build. If you can do both, you'd be unstoppable. And so, like, what exactly does this mean? Well, like, learn to build, right? So, learn to build is basically again like the ability to solve problems because you can build the solutions to these problems, right? One thing you guys can pick up, which is I think coding is becoming much more democratized now, right? But like again, I mentioned like Harvard CS50, but there's also this sick website called like edX, right? Free online courses from like MIT, Harvard, Berkeley, right? But they're just like all open source for everyone because like learning is becoming democratized, and we're at a point where through the internet, like through YouTube, really, you can just search like how do I build a Zoom application? Maybe you want to build like a tutoring app, right? That allows you to study with like random peers, right? And just like do and keep each other accountable. Right? You just learn how to do that, and that's kind of like concepting what it means to learn to build. Like just get good at like being able to, oh, I have an idea. How do I make it? Oh, let me learn how to program. Let me learn how to use like tools like maybe like Shopify, build like an e-commerce store to sell like my hardware product. And then the other part is just learning to sell, right? Like what does it mean to learn to sell? Well, you can take it literally just by like, oh, how do I sell my product? Right? Maybe you have like a software product, which is kind of like an app that you sell, or maybe you have like something like physical, like maybe like a toy or something that you sell. So I think the most important aspect of just like anyone, and especially if you're a high schooler, is being able to sell yourself, which is like communicating your abilities, right? You can know all this stuff. Like you can be like the best person in the world at building, but if you cannot communicate that at all or show that you can do that, then like it's not as valuable, right? Because then no one will find you and like hire you or like work with you, or you wouldn't be able to apply it directly if your work is never recognized. And so I think I think this is just a really cool skill to pick up, just like, and it's free, I think, with all of your education perks. But yeah, if you can go to like Adobe Creative Cloud, which could give you like Photoshop, Premiere Pro, like After Effects. You can like design anything and design logos for businesses. You can learn how to market yourself. You can build like cool videos, make YouTube videos, right? And again, like in the example I gave before, which was the fact that like my YouTube channel, it doesn't just showcase like my content. It would showcase like my abilities in video editing, right? But if I talk about like a programming project, and also show that hey, I could build this out, and that attracts like opportunities, as it shows that hey, you can actually do that. And aside from like videos itself, I think having a personal website is really good. And I actually made a blog post on like oneskillaweek.com/website, which showcases you like it's super easy, like how you can code your first website, which I think is awesome for anyone to go in. And I think the final point that I think is important for anyone who's young and entrepreneurial is just that find like-minded people. You can join a program like TKS. You can also join my Discord. But yeah, like people, if you can look at me and be like, oh wow, you can see I just explained my pathway, kind of like where I got here, right? And people are all pathways that you can take inspiration from to build up your own pathway and legacy to go forward.
That was great. And so yeah, Arnab, well, you get your stuff up and ready. I just have one follow-up question for you, Sigil. So that makes a lot of sense. We're solving problems, right? That's really what entrepreneurship is. And there's so many tools and resources that are freely available to allow people to build whatever the thing is that's going to help solve that problem. My big question for you as our students watching this going into the summer, what advice do you have for students to help them figure out what problems are to solve? Is it just kind of that first quote you had from Naval, like what feels like play to you that looks like work to others? Do you follow your curiosity? Or if I'm a student watching this, how do I know what problems I should be solving? What would you say to that?
Yeah. I think it's important to work on things that you love, right? And this is tying back to the quote, which is like, what is play to you? But that seems like work, right? And I think, I mean, the problem that I identified was literally just from making memes on these social platforms. And then you find these problems. And I think, although it's like, it requires like chance and like serendipity and luck, that's like kind of the beauty where it's like, if you follow your passions, you can identify like problems, like maybe, or like maybe like in this niche that you're super passionate about, the authors or content creators that you love and enjoy aren't getting enough exposure, so they're not able to, you know, like continue and commit to it, right? They're not able to monetize themselves, so they do it part-time. But I think through following like what you want to do and your own niches, there's always problems out there. I think the world is full of problems, and problems are opportunities for you to go towards. And yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go.
That makes sense. Yeah. Spend time in areas that feel like play to you, and then just be aware of what's happening, identify problems, and figure out a solution on. I love that. Thank you, Sigil, so much.